go first. Go Ross.
Gene, how's the secondary evolving? I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since we talked to you. What are you seeing progress-wise?
I think we're making progress. Every day I think we're getting better. I think we're learning a lot. We have a lot of new players back there. So there's a learning curve. But what I really like is that they're putting themselves in proximity to make plays. We're not right now making all the ones that we should. But I'm really, really happy with the growth. This was practice 10. See a lot of growth back there, a lot of learning. And I think we're ahead of where we were last year, simply because there's some carryover with some guys that have been here. But it's a work in progress every day, but I'm proud of them right now.
Speaking of the secondary, Mac has been raving about Elijah Hussey this spring. What is he doing specifically that has made him so good so far?
Yeah, Elijah just has great instincts. He really does, and that's what we saw in film when we recruited him. You know, there's certain things you can teach at DB. You know, we always tell everybody that we're responsible for the first second and a half of a play. That's what you're looking at, getting you in the right spot, and the player's responsible for, you know, the last 3, 4, 5 seconds of the play of making those plays, right? Either making a tackle, making a play on the ball in the air. He does a great job of finishing. He does a great job of just feeling things in the secondary that we can't teach. So he's got a sixth sense for the ball in the air. Just a really, really good player, never panics. He's been everything we'd hoped he'd do so far.
It's safety staying with the secondary. I mean, you lost some guys to the transfer portal, brought in some guys. What's kind of going on there? You got Conley is kind of trying to get back in the rotation as well. Who are the guys you like there that have done well? And I guess Derek Allen's one guy that you brought in as well.
Yeah, I think they've all done well. We have a lot of growing we have to do at that position, but we also have we've got some bodies there. We've got some new bodies there. They're trying to learn the system, but they've played some football. You know, Derek Allen, you mentioned, played a lot of football at Georgia Tech. And then we have a couple guys injured, so we're trying to work them into the rotation at this point because they can do more this late in spring. So Will Hardy's able to get some reps now. Gio's is able to get some reps now. So we've got enough depth there. We've got to get guys in position to make more plays. But it's still a learning process because there's some new bodies there.
And Conley, what's he do? How's he doing?
He's doing good.
Status?
He's healthy.
Okay.
He's healthy, and obviously he's very athletic. He's very talented and gifted. And he didn't get a lot of reps with us last year, so he's kind of a new guy, if you will. But he's taken some reps for us, and he's given us some depth, and he's trying to work his way into the lineup.
When we were here at the open practice a week and a half ago, whenever Amari Gainer took a rep and came to the side, he would follow you, and you were talking to him. No matter where you walked, he was following you during that one sequence of practice. And I asked him the other day about just learning, being a pupil, essentially, because he's learning a new position. How has that gone, teaching him and kind of having him at your hip as often as he was in that practice? Is that common in every practice?
He's pretty much on my hip, just always talking him through. He's very conscientious as a football player. He loves the game. He's a violent player. He plays really hard. It really is important for him to learn what's going on. So he never takes a rep off. It doesn't matter whether he's in there or not. When he's not in there, he never takes a rep off. He's always watching. So when you see him with me, even when he's not in, we're talking through every single rep. That's how important it is for him to learn, and he's doing a really good job. So we just finished practice 10 today, and he's starting to flash. He's starting to make some plays. We tell these guys, if you're in the game and your presence is not felt, then you're just a guy. And he's starting to make his presence felt at different times in practice. So he's starting to pick it up, but he's a very conscientious learner. He's played a lot of football, so it's really not a matter of him not understanding football. It's just getting the reps in this scheme, and he's getting better and better every day.
You've used the word violent to describe him a couple of times. This is a violent sport, so everybody's violent to a degree. Why that word with him? What level of violence does he take his game to? Because
he is so, he plays so hard. There's never a rep or a down off for him. He's one of these guys where you got to say whoa and not sick him, right? Like sometimes, hey, this is half speed. This is 3/4 speed, back off. And you want that as a coach, right? Because if you don't say that to them, he's going to be trying to wreck something. So we look for a level of violence on the field because it is that, the game is that, but it's the way he plays, the intensity that he plays with. Everything's 4th and 1 to him every day. When he practices in his mind, every play's 4th and 1. And that's the way you try to get 11 guys, right? We want every play to be 4th and 1. That's how important it is to him. And he definitely fits the bill.
In an ideal world, do him and Kamen split reps at Jack in the game? Is that kind of what you want, or what's?
Well, what we want to do is we want to have great competition at the spot. We want to be able to split the reps when it's called for. And then we have different packages that really require both of them to be on the field at the same time. So if there's only one Jack on the field at a time, it's a really good competition right now. Ruck has been off the charts. His presence is felt every time he goes on the field, and Ruck has always been that guy. So between him and Amari really pushing each other every rep of every day, it's really been productive for us.
Sounds like Kamen might be playing the best of anybody this spring.
Kamen's playing really well. I'm really, really proud of him. He's another guy that when you look at the way you want defensive guys to play the game, he's exactly what you want. When you look at him every day, he never ever comes out here without a purpose. Every day this dude comes out with a purpose, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a violent guy. He plays hard. If I don't let him in practice because I'm going to say take this rep off, he gets mad at me. I love it because he comes out here every day with one purpose, and that's to get better every day, and he has shown that in 11 on 11.
How has what you've seen so far this spring affected the expectations you have of what this defense can be when the season comes around?
I expect us to live up to what our athletic potential is. We've got a lot of really good athletes out there. We have to play better with more consistency. We are definitely doing that right now. There's no question in my mind we are way ahead of where we were this time last year. Not just because of some of the reps, but also some things we've injected in the defense that we think will help our guys. And there's a lot of young guys that have come along and helped us. So really, really productive 10 days. Not a day that I can say we came out here and didn't practice with a purpose. And that's a compliment to all of our guys. They come out here every day to do that. So, but I feel really good about the direction we're headed. I don't feel great about where we are right now, but we have a lot of time, but I feel really good in the direction that we're all headed because everybody's coming out here every day with a purpose.
Go ahead. No, you please.
With DJ Jones moving from running back to safety, I mean, what kind of a challenge has that been for you to walk him through learning a brand new position?
Yeah, it's really tough in college, and DJ's done a really nice job. It's hard. When you've never been a defensive player in college, there's a lot of moving parts. I think he's really done well. It means a lot to DJ. He cares. There's a high care factor there. But there's a learning curve, and it's really hard. When you go from running back to safety, that takes time. But we really appreciate what he brings. Every day he's attentive. Every day he wants to get better. So I'm really proud of him.
Was that his decision? Did y'all encourage that? How did that work? I'm sure Coach Warren was involved and Coach Brown.
Yeah, it was collective. It was collective with Coach Brown, myself, Coach Warren. We knew that in this, at safety right now, we're trying to find more production. We felt like he's a really, really gifted athlete. He's really tough. So we thought, you know what? We're going to be down some bodies in spring anyway.
Yeah.
Let's give him a shot because he's a talented young man. We got a lot of tailbacks, right?
Yeah.
So again, when we're trying to balance out what's best for the team, we don't tell anybody we're moving you. That's not how Matt does it. He says, here's something we think might be a good idea. It'll help our football team. Does this sound good? Does this work for you? If it works for you, let's make the move. If it doesn't, we're not going to make the move, and he was all in. And that's why I'm really proud of him because he didn't make the move begrudgingly.
What does Tamari Fox give you up front that maybe you guys lacked last year?
I think he's got really good short area quickness, toughness. He brings a presence to the middle of the defense. He's a really, really effective pass rusher. Tough guy, really hard to move, plays with great leverage. Was a really great wrestler. So you would expect that. but he's been coming on in the spring. He was early in the spring. He wasn't able to do everything, but we brought him along slowly, and he's starting to show up more and more now.
Is he really quick off the ball?
Really good short area quickness. And it is a really great interior defensive lineman. You have to have that. You got to have great short area quickness, and you got to be relentless and finish. Those two things have to happen, and he's got both of those.
Is he a pure interior guy, 3 technique, or can he play some power end?
No, he's not going to play. He's not playing any power ends. He could play a 3 technique or a 2-eye. Okay. So he is essentially an interior D lineman.
Okay, thanks.
Strictly.
When you were talking about Elijah Hussey earlier, and you were saying that you had seen the type of instincts and playmaking on film, like it's got to be a leap of faith, I guess, with the portal guys. In some respects, you see it, and then you bring him in, and I mean, is it sort of a relief when it shows up here in person compared to what you saw on the film?
Well, it's always a relief. I mean, you can recruit 5 stars, and you come in here, and it's a relief that they are 5-star, right? Like, so that's always a relief. When you recruit them, they actually look like what you thought they would. With Elijah, the good news was we were seeing him against college athletes. We were seeing him against Mississippi State. We were seeing him against some really good competition, and he never, ever changed how he played. He was always effective. His presence was felt. And when you have that many interceptions, no matter what league you play in, that's instincts. You can't have that many. I think he's had 12 or 14 in a couple of years.
Right.
You can't have that many interceptions and not have the instincts that we need. And that's what as we move forward in recruiting, we talk about that all the time. Does the young man back there have instincts? Can we see that on film? Does he have ball skills? All of those things matter, and that's where we got to really, really shift our trajectory and thinking as we, continue to bring guys in back there, because instincts matter. We all want to say we're great coaches, and we coach that. I've had 3 Thorpe Award winners, 3 Thorpe Award winners, and it wasn't because of me, because they got instincts and they can play. So, that's what we do, and that's what Elijah has, and he has not disappointed at all up to this point.
And it sounds like with he was talking about he's trying star now too. Like we talked to him the other day, it sounds like the aptitude is there too.
Football IQ just gets the game. Some guys struggle with really, really understanding concepts and what we're trying to do. He always knows where his help is. He just understands the game. And if he wasn't making that much progress, we could have moved him to learn another position, because now you're trying to do 2 things when you don't even have 1 down. And we wouldn't do that. So that's why moving him to that position makes sense.
We've got time for one more.
Ooh, I got a couple. What do you want out of Travis Shawl? What do you want out of Travis Shawl this spring and next season?
I'm really proud of the progression for Trav. He can be a dominating inside player. He's definitely shown flashes this spring of what we want. He's still growing as a player. But he's got exactly what you want down there. He's got size, he's got strength, he's got short area quickness. He just needs to continue to learn the game. I think he's growing up mentally. I think, there were some times last year where, a new guy coming in and, long season, some days I don't really feel like, man, it's one of those days. And I don't see those with him in the spring. I see him coming out here every day and really trying to grind to improve. And that's where I'm really proud of him, because when he gets the mental side of the game down, the physical side is there. It's all mental for him. So if he'll continue to take care of his body, doing the things we're asking him to do, and he'll continue to come out here and play with a purpose, he can be what we thought he would be when he was recruited here. And he's showing flashes of that. He has not arrived, but he's showing more flashes of that now.
Do you have a talk with him at some point and be like, look, you could be a first-round draft pick if you do this, this, and this, like, because the potential's there. Like, do y'all sit him down and tell him?
We do.
Kind of say, like,
we do. We talk to him about what's down the road.
Yeah.
And, we're very blunt and very upfront with these guys. I mean, if you have the talent to be a first-round pick, or you got a talent to play in the next level and you don't, that's your fault. It's your fault. Because there's not many people that have those gifts. So we have those discussions with these guys, and we just tell them. But then we'll back it up even further and say, see this rep? That looks like a potential NFL guy. See that rep? That looks like high school. So which one is it? And so that's how we talk to these guys.
Is it kind of crazy to think that a guy of his size, sometimes you have to say you might need to be a little tougher? Like you wouldn't think a guy that size might be soft.
It's not his toughness at all.
Okay.
It's his mental approach that he's continuing to grow with, that he needs to continue on this path of growth. Because when he gets his mind right and he understands what it takes to be great at this game, not being 6'6" and 345 pounds or whatever it is, but the mental edge to the game, right? When he understands that, he'll continue to grow. If that doesn't grow, and this is with any player, you can't continue to improve. All the guys that improve on our team, because mentally they come out here with a purpose every day, and they can't have bad days. You can't have a bad day, and you can't go backwards. So that's kind of the message that we're really pumping with our guys all the time. There cannot be any bad days. We only have 15. So we don't have 365. We got 15. You can't have a bad day.
All righty. Thanks, Gene.
Thanks.